Next one we're going to look at is actually taken from episode 348 of the Beer and Brewing Podcast. If you have not listened to that podcast, lots of good stuff. And this is part of me trying to hold myself accountable. I always call people out, or encourage people, I should say, to, we're in charge of our own professional development as brewers. So take half of your commute and give it to some quality podcasts. So anyhow, I've been taking some of my own medicine this past month. And I really enjoyed episode 348 of Beer and Brewing Podcast, where they interviewed Chris White, Julian Schrago, and Garrison Frattoni of Russian River. And they were discussing zinc levels in the ferment. So if you've not been hearing what some people are talking about as far as zinc, they're talking about using potentially elevated levels of zinc and taking their zinc additions off of the hot side from the kettle and moving it to the cold side. Reason being is the amount of zinc that you can be adding to your kettle, you can be losing potentially up to 60% of it, because it will bind with the proteins in the kettle and actually drop to the bottom and not actually make it to the cold side to your yeast. So what is a potential solution to that? A potential solution to that is getting actually zinc salt, or, like the powdered zinc salt product, whatever it is. I don't remember the thing off the top of my head, but they talk about it in this episode. And adding it directly to the cold side. All right. So you know exactly what you're getting, and you don't have to guesstimate on what's being taken up with the trub and the various beers that you're making, which I like quite a bit. And they were talking about making a sterile solution. So if you have an Instapot or a pressure cooker or an autoclave, making up a zinc solution in an autoclavable bottle and then dosing that out. Some people are doing it as simple as having a valve on the side of the tank, putting a sanitized elbow on it, opening it up, and as they're filling, pouring that in, and then just closing the valve and going on your way. But I believe it was Julian that was saying that they're assuming 100 parts per billion just from the base malt that they're using, from the base malt, or a 0.1 ppm range, just from the base malt. So he was saying, very roughly speaking, they're adding 1 gram of zinc in solution for every 10 barrels of wort produced. They're making sure that it's getting mixed. You just don't want to top it through the top of the fermenter once it's full. You actually want to start transferring that wort in. Either do it through the side port, go up top, pop the top off, pour it in as it's being mixed, because you actually want that action, that mixing action, to be able to be in contact with the yeast. So 1 gram in solution for every 10 barrels of wort produced. So that can be a good rule of thumb. And when they do that, they're getting between 250 to 300 parts per billion, or 0.25 to 0.3 parts per million. And that's kind of a sweet spot. You can kind of dial that in up and down. If you go too high, what you can find is that slurry is really going to brick out on you and turn into clay. That's not what you want. Some other things that you might notice. You might notice some differences in ester expression when you do this. So keep an eye on that. Maybe to the good or to the bad, but you should see higher viability, potentially a more robust crop off the bottom of that. So some cool stuff. And some people talk about getting 24 to 48 hours faster ferments. So from a production standpoint, definitely worth it. So worth it to check out. So anyways, great episode 348 Beer and Brewing Podcast. That's just one small nugget from it. You're going to want to check that out. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're going to maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.